The dock of a courtroom. Everyone's gaze is on one man. His jaw is tight with tension, standing tall in his sharp-cut suit. He may look like your ordinary, law-abiding citizen, but this man, he is charged with the gravest crime in the land: murder. The prosecution barrister gets to his feet. He says this man killed deliberately. And his victim, a climate activist, was someone the defendant believed deserved to die. And what makes this crime that we are witnessing even more shocking is this man, with all the eyes on him, is a serving police officer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Would you want to watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Because what I just described for you there was a very tense scene from a new BBC drama. It's called Showtrial.
Marcus Calderwood, activist and author, is about to be arrested for the 21st time.
Calderwood identified me before he died.
Why did he identify you?
I don't know.
A cop who smashed his car into a guy trying to save the planet?
Allegedly, he's still entitled to a defence.
I don't think we should touch this.
No mobile or dashcam footage.
There's a bigger picture.
I'm not denying that we're the underdogs.
He likes to think he's controlling things and he's a show-off.
There's something else I feel I should mention.
You enjoying this?
You don't know the whole story, though.
So that was the trailer for Showtrial Season 2.
And it had us gripped based on a huge pressing conflict that we are facing right now. And this series is the brainchild of a screenwriter who really sort of immerses us in some themes about climate activism, how far is too far to go to save the planet. But what I really love about it is that it's all unravelling alongside a storyline about allegations of police corruption as well, and of violence.
As the nerd,
Yeah.
excellent representation of legal processes and
Yes.
the ethical and evidentiary discussions that are had to see whether or not something can even go to trial. And then the ethics around sort of how people think about when things should go to trial and the evidence, how it's collected. It's great.
So I'm really intrigued to know how the writer of this new BBC drama, Showtrial, has been grappling with all of that complexity.
It's an interesting show which shows a lot about how policing in England actually works.
Enjoy our fascinating conversation with screenwriter Ben Richards. Ben, welcome to Bad People.
Thank you for having me.
How would you describe Showtrial?
Showtrial is a show that looks at a criminal case from the moment, pretty much from the moment of arrest to the verdict. And I think its most important point is it looks at the case from the angle of both the defence and the prosecution. And it looks at the way in which the same evidence or the same facts are treated differently by both defence and prosecution. And I think at its simplest, it's a trial from arrest to verdict, that it's more complicated. It's about the morality of the way in which we consume legal procedures.
And I think that's what does feel quite distinctive about Showtrial, is that we see a police officer in the dock, and kind of it raises that really important question about should violence from a serving police officer get a longer sentence. You know, they do have this role, of course, in society of safeguarding us. We should have a certain level of trust.
And we had quite a lot of legal advice on this, because we wanted to do something quite different with this show trial and not just have the classic guilty or not guilty tension. So we did something quite different, and I think quite brave, and in terms of drama, to try and vary what the outcome of the trial might be, because there are different outcomes. It isn't always just that straightforward. And sentencing, and we're seeing that very much now, how important sentencing is. That's where research did come in really handy, because I didn't know that a crime committed by a serving police officer would carry an increased sentence, because it would be considered an aggravating factor. So that was really important to the final episode.
Do we think most people do know that? I don't think so.
I think intuitively a lot of people would think that. And certainly lots of professional bodies also have rules. Like if you're a psychologist, you're not allowed to bring the profession to disrepute.
See, maybe you know that because you work within an organisation like that. I'm making a vast assumption here, but actually I would think maybe the public would almost think the opposite, that a police officer may be more likely to get a lenient sentence because they work within, criminal justice and policing.
But basically public perception and the impact of your actions on public perception are taken into account. And I think rightfully so, because if you are going into those professions, you know that you are a face to the public of your profession, and that matters.